So today I would like to share with you the guide to the role of planning and development process. Next. So the presentation will contain the introduction of the smart city, although all the panelists in the previous session have discussed a surface on the smart city, but I think for the benefit of the large participant today, I would like to share again and reiterate some points, important point to be shared on the smart city. And I think the gist of the presentation will be the focus on the smart planning of our city. So in the previous session, Mr. Musabri also mentioned a lot about the smart city planning. So I think I will try to emphasize on the smart city planning, how important and how we could do it at the national, regional, states, and local levels, and probably some the way forward for us to think about it. So next, please. Next. Okay, the evolution of the cities from the garden cities to smart cities. So as a student of urban planning, so we were teach on the garden cities back in the concept of 1902 by Ebenezer Howard. So I believe from 1902 to the current years, a lot of concepts have been introduced to the city development. And if you look at the garden cities, back in 1927, if not mistaken, we also have interpreted and embraced the garden city concept in our cities called Kuala Kubu Baru. So Kuala Kubu Baru is a manifestation of the garden cities and the first planned cities in Malaysia. And after that, a lot of concepts have come out, Redburn Superblock, neighborhood concept, central place theory, regional growth theory, growth pole. And I think I fast forward to the most current, I think the low carbon cities framework have been introduced in the early 2000. And the most important things I believe back in 2015, the Sustainable Development Goals have been introduced. So SDG have been introduced to replace the Millennium Development Goals. And after that, the fourth industrial revolutions or industry forward have been introduced. And in the same year, new urban agenda also have been introduced. So at the global level, new urban agenda have been coded as the vehicles to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And after that, the smart city concept have emerged. And a lot of buzzword, IoT, artificial intelligence, Bitcoin, a lot of buzzwords have come out from that. So smart city, I think have been introduced, and I think Malaysia have taken a very good step in introducing the Malaysian Smart City Framework by KPKT back in 2019. So I think at the policy level, the government have take very quick actions to embrace this. Next, please. So I think it is good to share some of the key urban challenges that we face in Malaysia. So you can see from the slides, urbanization in Malaysia have experienced a long-term evolution that shaped the city today. So you can, the population have increased. This data I take from the National Physical Plan back in 2005, 2010, 2018, and until the current years. You can see a lot of changes in the additional of the built-up areas from 3.32% to 9.4%. And also the population from 25 million to 31 million, or I would say while we are waiting for the official figures from the Department of Statistics, but we can easily say that now Malaysia have the population of 32.7%. And this rapid urbanization have a lot of urban challenges. And among others is increase in the solid waste, electric consumptions, water management, and we still have a high non-revenue waters, aging population. So our countries are going towards aging populations, where more than 50% are the age are above 60 years old. And apart from that, health issues is also, now we are still in the COVID-19 issues, so a lot of health issues. And vehicles, the number of car ownerships, Malaysia have one of the countries that have a very high car ownership. It is almost, if you look at the ratio, the car ownership that we have in 2020 is about 28.2 million vehicles. So it is almost equal to our population number, 32.7 million. So we also have a very environmental issues at the local levels. And crime rate is also increased in the cities. So these are the key urban challenges that we are facing day in, day out. And these challenges, if we didn't tackle in a smarter way in the future, is going to cause a havoc. And I think what have been discussed in the previous model, how smart city could be one of the tools to combat this challenge is very important. Next, please. Next slide, please. So back to the what is smart city. Dr. Mary have, I think, have crafted earlier a definition outlined by the Malaysian Smart City Framework. So it is a quite a good definition in the framework, which is the city that embrace ICT in managing the urban challenges. So I think that is a very basic definition. But what I want to highlight today is the actually definition by the ISO, International Standard Organization, which is it has been discussed by a lot of experts. And for me, this is the most comprehensive definition that I could say, which is I take the keyword city that increase the pace, provide social, economic, and environmental sustainability outcomes, and respond to the challenges. So the challenges that such as climate change, rapid population growth, political, economic instability, and use data information and modern technologies to deliver better services and quality of life to the city, which is including the resident business visitors, for the foreseeable future without unfair disadvantage of others or degradation of natural environment. So without unfair disadvantage of others, this is about sustainability. But I think the most important things that the definition highlighted is the use of data information and modern technology. So they put the data information first instead of modern technology, because technologies come and go, but I think the most important thing is the data. So we want our smart city in the future that use data-driven and more in the scientific decision making. That is why data is very important. So next, please. So if you look, I don't want to quarrel very long on this, but just to give some comparison between the traditional cities and smart cities. So smart cities, I think this is the opportunity that in terms of planning, it is more coordinated and holistic, which is planning before this, it is more ad hoc and decentralized, and resources are shared. So we talk about the very limited resources, and these resources need to be shared to have optimum impacts. And cost saving are fully realized. And in the previous session also talk about the high capex for the implementation of the smart city. Yes, probably the capex is probably a bit high, but I think in the long run, the cost saving will be fully realized. Investment are scalable, and in terms of the urban planning and forecasting will be better. And in terms of the infrastructure, it will optimize the cutting edge technology. So a lot of the new technology is coming, and this the city will be use the cutting edge technology for the benefit of the people. And of course, definitely improve the service level agreement. And I know the most of our local government here, I think being measured by the service. And we know that basic services that provided by the PBT, this is something that is always evaluated by the public or by the rakyat. System operators enjoy real-time reporting on infrastructure condition, predict and prevent problem such as what being shared by the Cik Musabri from Perbadanan Putrajaya earlier. And then this is the things that being used in the system operators. Next, please. From the ICT investment, it is more centrally planned rather than piecemeal. Before this, we have we plan our ICT investment based on the piecemeal and a very siloed. The IT department invested, planning department and the building impact department also have their own system. But with the smart city, this system need to be integrated. Through this integration, I think this is what we call as centrally planned. So there is no silo, so it is de-siloed, and it can be deployed across city department and project. So this will deliver optimal benefit and provide the maximum value and saving in the long run for the local government or any agencies. Public engagement, before this, we know that public engagement is in Malaysia, especially if I can relate to the urban planning public engagement, is still a very low, and we try to increase. And through the smart city, a lot of new platforms have been introduced. Like today, we can meet online, and I do believe a lot of platforms have started to move to the online platform, and a lot of people can be engaged through online, and we can increase the public participation through this initiative. And the last one, I think, is about the sharing of data. And sharing of data is very important. Before this, we talk about the siloed. A lot of study have been done, a lot of research have been done at the department level, ministry level, but it is not being shared with other departments. But through the sharing of data, and I think Mampu have introduced a lot of sharing data, Data Raya Sektor Awam, and a lot of other initiatives that this might enable innovation in the future. A lot of people, a lot of public agencies can access to the data that previously have been coded as confidential, sulit dan sebagainya. So this shared between department is better correlated with other services as well. So this will improve the result in the future. Next, please. So talking about the smart city. So where we are now, if you look at there is not many smart city index or evaluation at the global level, but I do believe these are the two most significant evaluation of the smart city that we have for now. One is IMD Smart City Index, and another one is Cities Motion Index. So Kuala Lumpur, I just take an example of Kuala Lumpur, our capital cities. So for IMD Smart City Index in 2019, Kuala Lumpur have been placed at 72 out of 102 cities. So the measurement have been evaluated is including health, safety, mobility, activities, opportunities, and governance. And in 2020, Kuala Lumpur have shown increase in the position to the 54 out of 109 cities. So a bit of improvement for Kuala Lumpur. But however, in other index, Cities Motion Index, from the 174 cities, Kuala Lumpur is placed in 100th position, and in 2020, shown some decrease here from 100 to 106, from 174. However, the measurement might be different to the IMD Smart City Index, but this is more comprehensive for me, human capital, social, economic. So this is to show that where is our capital cities have been positioned in the global Smart City Index. So if we have 154 cities, so probably we can place our positions in the global situation. And this is a very emerging index to show us, and we have to step up to put a better position for our cities in the next evaluations or in the next index by any international evaluations. Next, please. So today I want to focus on the smart planning, smart city planning, smart planning our smart cities. So I try to, we have the planning framework that we have, but this is one of the effort that we would love to explore the smart city planning process at the national, regional, state, and local levels. And we want to go further up to the development control and detailed planning as well. So if you look, we have, before this, we have 3 tiers, but in this framework, we want to explore another level, which is development control and also a detailed planning. So if you look on the left side, we have the national planning at the ministerial level. We have 5 years Malaysian plan. We also have national physical plan, and we have sectoral policies and plan. And on the right side, which is equivalent to the sectoral policy, we have the Malaysian Smart City Framework by KPKT, what have been mentioned by Dr. Mary earlier. So at the local, regional and state level, we have the regional state development plan, such as I took for example, a lot of plans have been developed at the state level, Kedah, Maju, probably Smart Selangor as well. And we also have the Smart City Blueprint at the state level. For now, I do believe that Smart Selangor have come out with their blueprint. The most recent one is Kuala Lumpur. They come out with the My Smart Wilayah. It is a statewide blueprint. And I do believe other states also come out with their digital blueprint. So digital blueprint is a good start. Probably they will tackle the smart city vertical as well. And I think the lowest level, we have a local plan. I think most of you, especially from the local government, you are familiar with the local plan and special area plan, or we call as a RKK. But not many, in terms of the smart city, have come up with the smart city action plan. So this is a very action-oriented blueprint that should be prepared at the local level. So for example, Putrajaya have come up with their blueprint. I think the most recent one, Ipoh, Majlis Bandaraya Ipoh, have come up with their blueprint. It's going to be launched very soon. Kuala Lumpur have come up with their master plan as well. And I do believe a lot of local government also preparing their smart city action plan in the future. So smart city action plan is a very important stage that I want to highlight today. You can do a smart city planning process, whether at your local plan, which is a statutory document, or in absence of the local plan. Let's say your local plan just being prepared or is still a long way to being reviewed, you can prepare a smart city action plan, which is a manifestation for the long term and a strategic term for the smart city for your area. And the last one, what we want to introduce is the smart city interpretation at the development control and also the detailed planning. So we know that at the detailed planning, we have planning permission, engineering plan, building plans, and also other plans such as a landscape plan and other plan as well. So next, please. Okay, let me touch a bit on the Smart City Framework 2019-2025, Dr. Mary. So we have, for those who are yet to know about the Smart City Framework, we have 16 policies, 36 strategies, 112 initiatives, and 92 indicators. So in this Smart City Blueprint have rules, a 7 smart city component, which is smart governance, smart people, smart digital infrastructure, smart economy, smart mobility, smart living, and also smart environment. So these are some of the key areas that are being highlighted in the Smart City Framework. So this framework has highlighted on how the smart city at the national levels in terms of the policies, strategies, and initiatives that should be delivered up to 2025. Next. So, in relation to today's discussion, I want to have a special highlight on the digital infrastructure, because I think what are the key immediate action for us at the local levels, at the state levels, and also at the federal levels, is to help our friends at KKMM and also MCMC to materialize the aspiration of JENDELA. So JENDELA is about the National Digital Infrastructure Plan. And we know that there are 3 key areas and aspiration for the JENDELA. One is to achieve the 100% of the 4G coverage in populated area and the speed of 100 Mbps by beyond 2022, and also adopting the 5G, which is the next generation of telecommunication. And the next aspiration is gigabyte access to 9 million premises. So gigabyte access is actually a fixed broadband. So for now, if not mistaken, we have about 4 million plus premises that could connected to the fixed broadband. And beyond 2022, the JENDELA aims to achieve 9 million premises. And how we can assist to achieve the 100% 4G coverage and 9 million premises to be accessed by the fixed broadband. So actually we have a very vital roles here, especially at the local government level, in terms of expediting and also accelerating this process to achieve this aspiration. And the last one, I think, a readily accessible digital infrastructure map. So digital infrastructure map is very important, and we are also working closely with the MCMC to come up with the digital infrastructure map, which is at PlanMalaysia or KPKT, we have the iPlan. So I think at the local government, you're quite familiar with the iPlan, and we want to integrate with the CIMS, Communication Infrastructure Management System, owned by the MCMC. So next. So another one, this is probably just a heads up, communication infrastructure planning. So communication infrastructure planning is very important for us to achieve the national JENDELA aspiration. So I do believe in the previous MNKT have been agreed to acknowledge and recognize communication as the third public utility. So in doing this, MCMC also have come up with the GPPI, or Communication Infrastructure Planning Guidelines, which is outline a lot of new guidelines with regards to communication. A new threshold have been introduced as well. A new standard have been introduced, such as you need now to reserve some reserve for the communication infrastructure, similar to if you plan any at the planning permission, KM or development order level, we have reserve reserve for TNB, reserve for water resources, bekalan air, and now we need to reserve for communication as well to make sure that we have a better and good communication in the future. And also a minor communication infrastructure. So minor communication infrastructure is very important for the future. Now the government is going to optimize the 4G generation, fourth generation, and to the next level, the 5G. A lot of minor communication will come to our cities to make sure that our connectivity will be increased in the future. Next, please. So My Digital, this is one of the new initiatives with the focus of the digital and economy blueprint by the APU. So I think My Digital also will accelerate the implementation of the smart city. So at the local levels, state levels, we need to give a special emphasis on My Digital. A lot of actions and initiatives have been highlighted in My Digital. So for you during the preparation of the local plan, RKK, or the Smart City Action Plan, these are documents that we need to consider and look closely and how we want to interpret this policy at the national level, to the state, and also to the local levels. Next. National Policy for Industry 4.0. So this is another national policy that we have. And this policy also have identified a smart city as one of the verticals that need to be focuses in their policy as well. Next, please. National IoT Strategic Roadmap. I think this one, many of us didn't notice the existence of this roadmap as well. So this roadmap has been formulated by the MIMOS with MOSTI, and I do believe a lot of IoT strategic action plan. And one of the key highlight is actually to develop Malaysia as the regional development hub for IoT as well. So this also, if I can relate to the smart city, a lot of innovation, I do believe, in terms of the development of the technology park that we have in our local plan, in our plannings. So, for example, Kuala Lumpur have planned for artificial intelligence parks, and probably a lot of IoT park also could be planned at the innovation hub at every cities to spur and encourage more innovation in the future. Next, please. So this, I think, Green Technology Master Plan, this is not a recent one, but a lot of smart city initiatives also are aligned with the Green Technology Master Plan. And these are the one that have been discussed earlier about the waste, water, transport, energy, and these are the key element that can be aligned in our smart city preparation as well. Next, please. So at the national level, I would like to emphasize at the national level, National Physical Plan have been, now is still under the formulation of the fourth National Physical Plan. And I think a lot of policy have taken into account the smart city, especially in terms of improving the smart digital infrastructure. So we want to achieve the smart nation objective in the future, and how we want to translate improving the digital infrastructure through our spatial strategies. So this need to be looked closely, and I think the other emphasis on the smart city is also not we want to develop a smart city that not on driven by the technology, but we want to embrace a people-centric smart city. So this is also need to be translated at the spatial level as well. So I do believe that the fourth National Physical Plan will craft strategies and initiative for the state and for the local level to follow through with the more actionable actions and initiative. Next, please. At the state levels, I have gone through a few state structure plan, and I put some of the example. So the state level also have interpret. So for in this case, I put Perak structure plan. They have put a few initiative on the smart city, and in terms of the strategy as well. So they give a very good emphasis on the smart and sustainable water management, for example, on the smart meters and warning system. And beside that, they also come out with the strategy which city should give more priorities. In the previous session, Dr. Raslan also mentioned about the funding. We know our resources are very limited. So we need to prioritize in terms of giving our cities. Where are the concentration of the people? Where are the key challenges, the high key challenges that we face in our cities in the state context? So Perak able to identify their main cities. They mentioned here Ipoh, Manjung, Taiping, and Tanjung Malim will be the focus city to implementing the smart city initiative. Besides that, in the absence of the smart city structure plan, cities state also come out with the smart city action plan or blueprint, I would say. Wilayah also, I mentioned earlier, Smart Selangor, and also I think the first one, IRDA, I think Puan Maimunah is also around. IRDA have come up with the smart city blueprint earlier than other cities. I think this is a very good initiative at the regional and also a state level. How the examples of smart city have been put as a guiding policy for the local level to interpret in their more action-oriented action plan. Okay, next one, please. Okay, smart city local planning. So this is a very crucial part where our smart city should be planned. And I do believe that having been located at the project office of Central Zone, or for the local authorities, you know us as the Pejabat Project Zone Tengah. And I mean, working with the division that have been preparing a local plan and structure plan as well, this is also help us to understand the need for the development plan and how we want to integrate and cater the problem of this digital infrastructure in our plan. In the previous session, I have been in the National Digital Infrastructure Lab as well, and we can see the gaps between the telecommunication infrastructure planning and also spatial planning. There is a big gap here, which is strategic planning have been done for the long term, while the telecommunication planning have been done for the short term ad hoc based on the demand. So this makes the gap is very clear and vital. And I do believe that local plan should be a platform to cater these issues, the fixed line issues and mobile issues in terms of where is the location and distribution of the tower, fixed line broadband in terms of the coverage, penetration rate, population, and also in terms of the next technology as well. So local plan through the telecommunication sectors can play a vital role in evaluating the readiness of the telecommunications at the local levels. Next, please. So local plan could also be tool for digital infrastructure telecommunication planning. So now we want to provide integrated information to the rakyat. So now rakyat can, wherever they move to the new housing area, they can check the availability of the network services provided that available in their areas, what are the best services that suit to them. So for now, with the integration, we yet to have the digital infrastructure map, but the collaboration between KPKT through PlanMalaysia and KMM through MCMC will provide an integrated information for the future to cater this information. And I do believe the preparation of the local plan as well will have the access to this information to make the telecommunication infrastructure planning is very at the micro level, not only at the macro level anymore. Next, please. So these are the examples of the telecommunications readiness study that can be done at the local levels. 3G network coverage, 4G, where is the coverage in terms of the spatial, and where is also the network coverage in terms of the Cooper line, where is the fiber line. So we could formulate whenever possible how to make the fiberization as our main priority, the area based on the point of interest and etc. So this is the example that the study that we have worked with MCMC for Labuan. We are preparing RKK Labuan earlier, and these are the same. This is the example of the information that we have in our study. Next, please. So this is also about the quality of the digital infrastructure as well, about the penetration rate. So you can see the penetration rate is very important to show about the affordability to the services of the rakyat. Next, please. So this is a very important, very close to our heart. We talk about the average, the internet speed. So a lot of now we know that our country, the average speed is about 25, and through JENDELA we want to achieve beyond 2020 100 Mbps. So we know that where we are now. So we are at 20.74 megabit per second. So we want to leapfrog from 20 to hundreds. So it's almost 5 times additional capacity, speed that we want to add. So these translations of this to achieve the 100 megabit per second aspiration need to be triggered down at the spatial level as well. So a lot of telecommunication infrastructure need to be planned properly, and a close collaboration need to be done with the MCMC at the local levels. Next, please. Okay. So local plan is very important. So for me, it's a comprehensive strategy and initiative on the smart city. So we are talking about the smart city local plan that is very people oriented. So these are the examples of the simple tables that can be translated in the preparation of the local plan. We can relate to the outcomes and also the priority, and what are the solution and technologies that we could put in the local plan as well. So the next one is about the implementation. So if the local plan, I do believe the YDPs, the planners from the local government that around today can embrace this kind of smart city outcome, and they can relate to the outcome that they want for their cities. Next, please. So this is the example of how Ipoh have come out with their local plan as well, and at the same time, Ipoh also have their smart city action plan. Next, please. Next. These are some of the example how Ipoh. We talked about the WTE earlier. So this is about waste to energy. Next, please. Okay, this is also about the application that we have in Ipoh and also in Selangor, Selangor Intelligent Transport System. That they try to mention smart application that they have in their local plan as well. Next. So, in absence of the smart city, for those cities who are preparing their local plan, this is the best time to put the smart initiative and interpretation in your actions. But however, for the cities that want to come up with their special smart city action plan, I think we are at the PlanMalaysia, we are encouraged cities to come up with this. So this smart city action plan can be a roadmap for a specific project and initiative, and it can be crafted in the quick win, short term, medium and long term. And this is a very useful for the budget preparation. As mentioned by Cik Musabri, you can ask the budget from the ministry, from the MOF, EPU, and other financing mechanism as well. Okay, next please. Okay, at the development control, this is another level. So I do believe that a lot of local government has started to introduce their initiative at the planning permission, engineering plan, and also building plan. For example, crime prevention through environmental design, pedestrian walkway for smart mobility, CCTV, telecommunication transmitter tower, MCI, EV charging, and also fiberization. So these are key examples of the smart initiative and syarat or condition that you could put in your development order or planning permission stage. In the engineering plan, LED have been introduced, smart bus stop. At the building plan, you already put the spa, green building, and also the smart building as well. So I think this is very important because if we talk about the coverage or speed, I mentioned earlier, we don't have a problem actually. If you do a drive test speed outdoor, we can get a very good speed. But however, we're facing a lot of issue in terms of the internet speed if we are in the building. So this in-building coverage, communication is very important to tackle, and this need to be planned from at the earlier stage of the preparation of the planning permission or building stage. Next, please. So this is I just probably flip through because I don't think I have a long time here. So how UK set their framework in terms of the digital infrastructure communication, digital infrastructure planning in their development process. So they have a national planning policy framework, which is equivalent to our national physical plan, regional plan, such as London plan. We have also state plan and as well. Of course, the level is different, and we have a local development framework, which is also equivalent to our local plan, and also at the detailed planning. So these are the planning stage that could integrate the smart city initiative and the levels that we need to interpret for our planning as well. So I think we have translated this in our planning framework that I mentioned in the earlier slide. So these are the stages that could be used. Next, please. So these are the key recommendations that can be put at every levels. So if you at the detailed planning project, so what are the solutions that you could introduce at the detailed planning for the KM level, building plan level, and also at the engineering level. Next, please. Okay, so this is the example. So at the national level, the policy is more on the supporting high quality communication. So planning policies and decisions should support the expansion of the communication network. And this need to be interpreted at the state levels and also at the local levels. I give some quick examples. Next, please. Okay, this is Manchester City Council, how their broadband connectivity interpret the policy at the UK. New building development must incorporate measures to facilitate digital connectivity, and Manchester is at the regional level, and how Salford have interpret the policy at their, because Salford is one of the city under the Manchester Greater Manchester, so they are trying to protect existing digital infrastructure. So this can be detailed out in their local plan levels. Next, please. So these are some of the examples. Probably I took some example from Putrajaya as well. So Putrajaya is one of the leading cities. So digital infrastructure such as command center is very vital. And this is one of the, need to be given emphasis at the local government for the next rolling plan, if you want. So establish your digital infrastructure first. You can start small as well, but you could also go big as well, which is setting up the integrated command center is very important. Next, please. Smart environment, the water monitoring, such as that we have in Selangor. Mr. Musabri also explained how the lakes is very beautiful in Putrajaya. They have IoT devices that monitor the river, the lake classes as well. Next, please. Smart mobility. This is very close to rakyat hearts. How we want to commute. Smart Selangor is one of the initiative. Parking guidance systems, cashless payment, autonomous vehicles. Although this is new, but this is the way forward for the mobility in the future. Next, please. Smart economy. So smart economy, what been highlighted in My Digital is very important. So establishment, a lot of living labs and trainings, educations, smart people as well. So training, skill, the right skill for the right technology is very important, and it's very good. It's very best to nurture the younger generations especially in providing the right skill and critical thinking for the future. Next, please. Smart digital infrastructure. We talk about the Wi-Fi, and this is the digital infrastructure that have been implemented in Putrajaya. They have a very good planned digital infrastructure. But for other cities, we have a lot of small and intermediate cities here. So improving digital infrastructure is vital to any smart city implementation. I do believe you improve the digital infrastructure and all the smart application will come later and will grow as the innovation come. Next, please. So to wrap up this, I think this is the smart city development process that we should given a focus. So I do split this in 4 levels. The first one is planning. Brainstorming, engage with the public, get to know what they really want, because we want to generate that smart city not only based on the technology driven but based on the people-centric smart city. I think planning department is very good in this. Do your focus group discussion, engage with the public, identify your target groups, establish your objective, and set up your teams. And the second phase is about development of the project, execute your project, activate the implementation based on the teams. Putrajaya advised to set up a dedicated unit on the smart city for the local government that have the ability to have. Please go for that. And then a lot of during the development project, a lot of engagement with the industry as well. And the next one, the phase 1, is monitoring and evaluate what are the maturity index of the implementation, what have been done, what are the outcomes of the implementation. And I think the last one is about communication, which is you need to always communicate to the public and to the people what are the outcomes and output of any initiative and strategy that have been implemented, and also conform to the standard at the international level as well. So it is good that we benchmark with global cities, what are the initiatives that we have done, so that our smart cities initiative that we do is always at the global perspective and benchmarking as well. So next, please. So the way forward, so this is not the way forward that, this is just to share what we have in our pipeline here, especially at KPKT through PlanMalaysia. So we know that smart city, the data is very important. So we are establishing a Malaysian Urban Observatory, and Urban Observatory is an urban platform at the national level to form a comprehensive and inclusive urban data management. And under this, we are going to have one national smart city platform. So all the smart city platform, we intend to integrate in the future. It is always our dream to have all 154 local government integrate to national smart city platform, and this big data that we could have in the future, and we could do wonders with this a lot and vast information, especially on the big data analytics as well, based on the real-time data sharing, data-driven decision making, and through the implementation of the smart city throughout the cities in Malaysia. Next, please. Smart city standards and accreditation. Ultimately, we want to accredit cities, which cities are smart based on the global standard. And for that, KPKT, through PlanMalaysia and standard department are working to formulate standards, a lot of smart city standard. So one of the earlier standard that we are formulating is on the indicators of smart city. And we do hope that by 2023, we are going to have the first certification probably and accreditation on the smart city. Next, please. Strategic collaboration with the MCMC, the one that I mentioned earlier. So for the local government, in the future, the next generation of the local government or structure plan, we could do more extensive digital infrastructure and readiness exercise, very extensive, based on the data that we are going to share between iPlan and CIMS. So this data is very important to deliver a good telecommunication infrastructure at the local levels. Next, please. And awareness program. So awareness program, a lot of awareness that we are doing. So today is one of the partnership and collaboration to improve the understanding of the smart city. And I do believe in the context of smart city planning, PlanMalaysia are always open to the local government out there to help more on the advisory role for you if you want to come out with the smart city action plan. And we have, I think the previous collaboration and partnership with Ministry of Federal Territory and Majlis Bandaraya Ipoh have proven that we could come up with a long-term planning, smart city planning that is based on the city challenges and the needs of the rakyat rather than technology-driven. With that, I would like to end, and I would love to open for the Q&A session. Thank you, and back to you, Anusha.
Thank you, Farabi. I have few questions from the audience. All right, let me provide you the first question from Nur Hamimi. Okay, the question sounds like, based on the framework of Malaysia Smart City, in Smart People highlights the talent and skill. Can you explain if Malaysia has identified the specific skills in each of the smart cities that should have from the smart cities personnel?
Yes, thank you very much for the question, Hamimi. And I think in smart city, there are a few key areas that we could focus on developing the right skills and also the right human resources. So one of the emphasis is on the STEM, science, technology, kejuruteraan, and mathematics. So this is a very important if we relate this to the Industry 4.0 as well. So the skills on the technology, ICT, 4IR, on robotics, artificial intelligence, e-sport as well. So these are the kind of the skill that need to be given emphasis at the training levels and also at the nurturing of the skill. And I do believe that a lot of schools have started to come out with the robotics competitions. Hackathon is one of the things as well to achieve this.
Okay. Okay. For the next question, Farabi, from Sharifah. Given the economic condition of the people of Malaysia, where lower income earners are still high or many, how does Smart City able to help the poor given its cost of infrastructure and maintenance demands 24/7 connectivity and power supply, security issues in terms of public data? Can this possibly lead towards social discrimination? How successful is Malaysia so far in digitalizing this nation? How far has it reduced the income inequality gap?
Okay, thank you, Sharifah, for the question. A lot of question in one question, but I try to answer this. Given the perspective of PlanMalaysia, we always talk about the left no one behind. So digital gap is very important in developing the smart city itself. So these digital gaps need to be tackled. I think the first perspective is to get more people connected. So the first one is, I think the provisions of the connectivity, the right to access to connectivity is very important. So through this digital infrastructure emphasis, we try to make sure that all of us, all the people of the public of Malaysia could get access to the connectivity. And the issue of affordability to connectivity is another issue. And we do believe when the digital infrastructure has been scaled up throughout the Malaysia, I think a competitive rate to the rakyat, which is affordable, can be achieved. And probably a lot of provision of the free Wi-Fi as well by the local government. Now a lot of local government have provided this. And after that, we talk about how the digital connectivity, digitalization could improve the economic of the rakyat. So this is another issue that I think in my digital have highlighted the importance of the digital economy. So I think a lot of opportunity that could be provided, especially at the local levels. I take for example in Perak, because we involved with Majlis Bandaraya Ipoh in preparing their smart city action plan. There is a lot of platform. We find out that it is almost not only in the local government, but beyond at the city level of Ipoh. There is 24 platforms that have been introduced to spur the economic growth of the city of Ipoh. And in Ipoh, they are very lucky. They have, especially in Perak, they have the Perak, which is an agency who coordinated this economic development through digitalization. And they have come up with a very fantastic platform to integrate all the local businesses in Perak. So this could also be integrate with the other platform, national platform as well, such as Lazada, Shopee. And I do believe in the long run, this will help the economic viability of the rakyat and the local resident.
All right. Thank you, Farabi. All right. The next question is from Mazlan, from Favorayat. Sorry. You have mentioned that the need of the planning team. Will this the same team that will become the team in the project management office, PMO, that will monitor the progress of the project and the KPI? many smart cities fail because there is no dedicated team to continuously plan, monitor, and promote the project?
Thank you, Dr. Mazlan. I think there are a few models that could implement this. For example, I love to see the models developed by the Perbadanan Putrajaya as well, which is at the initial stage have been developed by the urban planning team. You set the aspiration based on the key challenges of the city. Then, however, it being executed by the smart city divisions, a dedicated smart city division, which is led by the ICT background team. And I think this is a very good example. I do believe Cik Musabri have led their team in translating the Putrajaya's smart city blueprint very well, and using the current the most recent technology to cater the urban challenges. So it's a mixture. But however, I do believe also smart city, we call as a smart city implementation office, need to be established at the local level to monitor from the beginning, from the planning stage up to the implementation level. So smart city implementation office could be established at the local levels, and could also we need another platform which is beyond the local government to look at the issues at the more higher level, probably at the city-wide levels and also at the state level, and to integrate this with other initiatives as well.
All right. Next question is from Atira Tan. You've spoken about the importance of data and innovation. Is there going to be access given to innovators to data from the cities for their technology development?
Thank you, Atira from Cyberjaya, if not mistaken, Atira.
Yes.
If you, okay, yes, innovation play a vital role in the innovation of the smart city for the long run. As far as my concern and my understanding, yes, we at the national level, Mampu have started the open data initiative, and I have visited and looked at certain data that have been put under the data raya sector awam. I would say that, and some of the data is not a really open data that to be used for the innovation of the smart city. The data is very static, it's still in the Excel file. So what we meant for the open data for the smart city is actually that data which is ever ready to be integrated using the API or standalone integration that could be used for the innovation of the future. For example, I take the traffic data that have been generated by the cities. That data, of course, probably there are other cities that share, but however, it is not on the real-time data. It is based on the frequent data and not the latest one. But in the smart city environment, the ideal smart city environment, we need the most recent data that, if not real time, it is near time. So the innovators and inventors out there could use that data for the innovation of the future based on the challenges of the city.
All right. Okay. The final question is from Nur Azlin Ahmad. Is there any budget and focusing special tasks highlighted in the plan for every state?
It depends. I think for example, if you look at the Smart Selangor, Smart Selangor have crafted a very beautiful document, and it is for me, Smart Selangor have come out with action-oriented smart city blueprint. And I do believe they have identified the budget and the financing systems in the blueprint as well, because the establishment of the smart city and the formulation of the need come together with the governance of it. So it is quite easier for Selangor to expedite the actions of the smart city, Smart Selangor. But for we are also involved in the wilayah smart city state blueprint. However, for wilayah, they have a different mechanism, which is their blueprint is more like a guiding policy to guide their 3 cities under the wilayah persekutuan. And at the local levels, they will come with more a detailed plan, and they let the freedom and flexibility to the cities to identify the budget for the implementations, which is the cities are Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, and also Labuan. So there are two kinds of implementation. It can be very specific at the statewide blueprint, but it also could be a very specific and action-oriented at the local level as well.
All right. Okay. One final question just appeared. Okay. How to come out with a good smart city plan?
Oh, okay. Of course, a smart city plan or good smart city planning is for me. We need to understand what are the community or the public needs and to cater the urbanization issue. So it is important to have that a smart city initiative that have a direct human touch to the rakyat and to the public. Probably, I still remember what being mentioned by the minister earlier. So we want a smart city that really, when people being in a smart city, they can feel that they are in the smart city. And this, a lot of engagement, I think, need to be engaged with the publics. And this engagement need a very special treatment, not based on the need to be based on the aspiration of the rakyat itself. And data is very important in planning the smart city. And I do believe the will by the leadership down there is very important. So we need more leaders that have been bold and strategic in come out with a lot of smart city initiative in the future. And the last one is partnering with the industry. Industry play a vital role because they are the one who bring the technologies and digital infrastructure as well. So these are the key elements for the good smart city plan.